All right, do you have your Pedialyte? You got your coffee?
Got your eggs and bacon,
The
maybe a little toast.
The greasy good stuff, the breakfast stuff to get you through last night at the bar. That bottom shelf tequila.
Made you think that you could sing like Rick Springfield and it wound up going south.
It's okay. That's why we're here. It is Sports Frenzy 2.0, the weekend edition. He's a conquistador, Dave Height.
He's the maestro, Kevin Crane.
Taping here on the 1st of March, 2023. This will, of course, hit Saturday morning, the 4th. Your Saturday morning hangover cure, as we tell you everything in music, movies, TV, and streaming to get you through your weekend. And of course, first and foremost, what do we always start off with each and every week, Dave?
Music. It's time to rock.
And finally, we have got top shelf new music to review.
Top shelf gutter. Take your pick.
Yeah, this is where I have an issue. Is that let me tell you a little story here before we get into our review. We are going to review Steel Panther's brand new album, On the Prowl. Now, Dave and I have seen them in concert here a couple times in the last 15, 16 months. You have to take them for what they are, but I ordered their CD from Amazon months ago. And here's number one reason to love Steel Panther. In an era where it is getting harder and harder for people like me who like CDs to buy these CDs from these bands, we reviewed the Winery Dogs recently.
Yep.
$17 for their CD.
Good Lord, that's a lot of money.
It has never come down. I thought maybe after it got released it would come down. No. $17. Usually, if you want to buy the digital, it's $9.50, $10. I don't like that because then I have to go through the work. I have to burn the CD for the car. I have to, if I want to make a sleeve and a case, and I got to go through all that. So usually $2 or $3 more bucks, I'm fine with it. Get lyric sheets,
right?
You get the
liner notes, the cover art, whatever they throw in there.
Steel Panther. $9 for the CD.
Nice.
God bless them. They are the best. Actually, $2.50 less than the digital. I think that is their way of saying fuck you.
Yep.
To the record industry. We know what our fans like. So I got On the Prowl, the new album, new CD from Steel Panther for $9. So again, you have got to take
what they are
at face value. Now, keep in mind, Sports Frenzy is an explicit podcast going forward as Dave and I review the latest from Steel Panther, On the Prowl.
And now, this is just the titles, kids.
Well,
never mind some of the lyrics.
The other part of this that I want to get to. So I was checking my order because for some reason Amazon wouldn't send it to me on the release day. They delayed it 3 or 4 days, which is typical for them because they hate me. But I happen to notice on Friday, the release day, last Friday, a review popped up. 1 star. And I was like, I have got to look at this. Now, in the past, like I mentioned the Winery Dogs for a reason, not only for comparison purposes when it came to the prices,
right?
But I saw the same thing happen with the Winery Dogs. But when the 1-star review popped up on release day for the Winery Dogs, the person who reviewed it said, this is not a review of the album. It's a review of $18 for the CD.
Oof.
And this is the only way I can really get through to Amazon or the record label or the band and say, the music's great, don't charge us $18 for a CD.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this 1 star hanging out there for Steel Panther.
So I gotta know.
And I'm like, okay, can't be the price. It's $9. I click on it. Wish you people would grow up. This is so immature. I don't understand why people buy this. You're all losers.
Yeah, get out of grandma's basement, you wishy-washy snowflake.
Of course, the guy's screen name was Live 2, the number 2, Rock You.
Oh my God.
But this guy is preaching to everybody else.
Dude,
how we all
enjoy
need to
it
grow
for
up.
what it is.
And now we will get into On the Prowl. As I've given you context, I have to admit, outside of, and I mentioned this to Dave previously, one line in the second song, Friends with Benefits, this album is fantastic. I have listened to it probably 8 or 9 times all the way through.
It's an enjoyable one.
Every song evokes a non-specific memory of mine from 80s rock and roll. I cannot place any of these songs with a particular song from the 80s, but every song brings back those memories. Every song has a structure, has a chorus, has a solo, has a feel to it.
And that's what they are.
Right. And at the same time, of course, they take it beyond belief with the sexually explicit materials because the 80s were the era of excess.
Yes.
But they do it in a very, very fun,
musical,
misogynistic way. I don't know. Do we want to go through song by song or just want to point out the highlights, lowlights?
I don't think there were really any lowlights per se. Most of it was,
like I said,
it was good.
The one line in Friends with Benefits, they go too far.
Which
a lot of
one did you have the issue with?
Okay, again, keep in mind this is an explicit episode. In Friends with Benefits, which otherwise is a great, great song, I get your turds inside my mouth. I'm like, okay, that's too much, even for me. I'm willing to let a lot slide.
You're willing to go with, I get your shower.
Sure. Even
pee all over you.
Even though it's not.
Don't take a dump in your mouth.
No. Yeah. Pee. Okay. Poo poo. Not so much.
Okay, Ray. With your pee video.
Oh my God. No,
that line did go a little too far.
Yeah. The golden showers thing ain't my cup of tea, per se. I know maybe our former president liked it.
Some people pay extra.
But the other stuff, no. Sorry. No, little too much. But I mean, all the rest of the songs are just, every song, even, I loved Teleporter. For the fact it was such a change of pace.
It was so different from what they would normally.
Right. It starts off with kind of like an Iron Maiden riff.
Yeah. But then it kind of hits that whole little sci-fi genre of screwing to another place.
Every song has such an interesting feel, and it all harkens back to the era of music that we love. And you get a guy like the guy on Amazon, who came right out right away at first day.
Grow up.
Yeah. And
dude, we're all 12. Come on.
You've got to take it for what it's worth. These guys are geniuses when it comes to
Blending.
80s satire and homage. They love this era. You can tell they love 80s music. They're not making fun of it.
No, they're embracing it and the excess that it was.
I love the line in Ain't Dead Yet. And this isn't dirty.
We're
6-pack turned into a keg. And then, of course, it follows up with, and the jizz just dribbles down my leg. I mean, Porn Star is catchy
Porn
as
Star
hell.
is a catchy tune. I just keep you...
Man, a porn star, baby! Again, they are not directly ripping off anybody from the 80s, but it is so close. You can't pick out
who
the specific bands, the specific songs.
Oh, come on. I love your vagina.
The magical vagina?
The magical vagina.
Who is it?
I couldn't place it.
See, I'm telling you, that's the beauty.
Yeah.
The magic of Steel Panther. They're genius. They're brilliant.
They're right on the cusp.
Your vagina, your vagina.
I'm in love with your vagina.
And of course, 1987 just gets better every time I listen to it.
That's probably the song on the album.
Could be the greatest homage to the 80s ever.
Yes.
Ever.
One of the best.
Because it's, in
looking
a way, it's
back days
heartfelt.
Of your song.
It is heartfelt. As misogynistic as these guys are.
This was a true...
They got me with the line when we all thought Dave and Eddie were getting back together. Because everybody back then thought that.
Exactly.
You know? It's a gorgeous, brilliant homage to the year, that time that we loved. On your Instagram is awesome.
Does that not sum it up with the whole filter thing? I fell in love with your Instagram picture. What the hell?
I mean, I just loved it. Even the last song, where I'm looking and going,
on the roll
Sleeping
away.
on the Rollaway, where I was like, well, this really doesn't have a Sexual Innuendo title. It's still an awesome tune.
One Pump Chump was hysterical.
Dweezil Zappa playing on Is My Dick Enough?
Or Do You Need Two?
I'm sorry. I loved it. I am not going to apologize anymore.
No.
That is a sports frenzy.
Put
credo.
my money where your mouth is. Come on.
And that might be the weakest song on the album.
It is.
And it's still pretty damn good.
Pretty damn good.
I'm giving it 3.5 frenzies.
I'm going 3. There we go.
I have listened to it so much and loved it from beginning to end. I don't care if it's immature. I still see the brilliance, the satire.
I mean, come on. Musically, it's fantastic.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Musically, they are great.
But again, we're not allowed to make fun of sex and excess.
Yes, we
and
can.
Drugs and bodily fluids and rock and roll, right? We have to worry about the environment and charging stations and electric vehicles.
No.
All I care about is your vagina. Your vagina. 3.5 stars. 3.5 frenzies.
All I know is
3.5
we
vaginas.
Need to do the smash in your gash.
3.5.
I will go 3 solid. Check out Steel Panther. They will not disappoint unless you're a snowflake.
There were plenty of women at the 2 shows we've been to.
Oh my God.
So these women get it.
Yes, they do.
All right, couple fun songs we have to review this week.
These were very enjoyable.
You want to go with your band first?
We will start off with The Who, the Mongolian folk rock. I guess is what they're considered. But their newest song, This is Mongol Warrior's Soul, with special guest William Duvall from Alice in Chains. I really like this song. It frickin' rocks. Duvall's vocals are great. They mix well with the whole Mongolian throat singing. Absolutely loved this one. It did not disappoint. It hooks you right from the beginning and rocks you all the way through.
I figured you'd like this. I had to throw this in there. I knew that you had talked about the Who in the past, and I'll tell you what. When I turned it on Spotify, and they show a big picture. If you do it on your Fire Stick on your TV,
Lou Brutus has been playing it on hard drive.
They show the band, and it's like, Jesus God, what is this?
Yep. But then they
literally look like a bunch of Mongolian warriors.
Yeah, they do.
But yeah, they are straight on, at least based on this song, straight on rock band.
This is what you get with them. Everything else I've heard from them, this is them.
This is wild. This is crazy. This is like taking
Kiss
to another level almost.
Yeah. This has got you hooked to check out more of their stuff, doesn't it?
Maybe. But I agree with you for the most part. This was a pretty cool song. And then, of course, throwing in William Duvall, of course, the new, can you even call him new anymore? Since he's been with them for, a decade?
Yeah.
Of course, took over when Lane Staley died.
And they got better with Duvall.
I agree with that. I know it's blasphemy for a lot of grunge rock fans out there, but I agree with Dave. They got better. They got tighter. Song structure got better with William Duvall coming in. So he adds a lot to this. I will give This is Mongol a strong 2.5 frenzies.
I'm going 3.
I figured you would. So we did not have just one, but 2 songs involving special guest vocalists. So the second one, as The Who, was more along Dave's lines of taste. When I saw the guest vocalist for this next song, I was like, my wheelhouse.
This guest singer is one of our favorites.
Yep. Band is Fire from the Gods, who I had heard of The Who before. I had never heard of Fire from the Gods.
No.
But the song is 1,000 Lifetimes.
With special guest Corey Glover, lead singer from Living Color. Glover is one of our favorite vocalists. He is so good.
Oh, he's one of my top 5 all time. Top 5 all time.
So good.
I just think the man can sing. He's up there with Chris Cornell, Jim Morrison. I mean, he is up there with the greats in my opinion. He
can sing anything.
Yes. And of course, he sang on Broadway, I believe in Jesus Christ Superstar or Godspell, one of those two.
One of those. The guy has great vocals.
Yes.
Super talented.
Yep. And this song fits him very well.
It does.
If he had gotten to sing the entire song, he shares vocals with the lead singer from Fire from the Gods. Similar vocal pattern, but weaker. And I'm not trying to be mean about that, but when you're comparing yourself to Corey Glover,
you're going to be lower.
Yes, he sounds a lot like Corey Glover, but doesn't have the strength, the vocal strength.
Right.
Now, the song itself could have been a Living Color song, I think.
Exactly. That's what I felt listening to it.
Really good. Really solid song. Now, this one, I go 3 frenzies for this.
I'm at 3 on this one as well.
Yeah. And hearing Corey Glover again was just great. Just great to hear him
I would
again.
love new stuff from Living Color. Would love for them to put out some new stuff.
Well, Dave, I don't have news on New Living Color for you, but I do have breaking music news today as we tape on the 1st of March, 2023. That will make you happy.
Enlighten me, Maestro.
It's been 15 long years since they put out their last studio album. We have been waiting and waiting and waiting, and we've been discussing it and talking about it. We have talked about false starts when it comes to possible tours with them.
I've seen them. I have been waiting
Shut
to
up,
see them
Dave!
again.
Yes, and hopefully this summer we will get to see them. Me for the first time.
Do you wanna play? Do you?
Extreme. The brand new album has been announced.
Yes, we have been waiting.
Simply titled 6. The album cover is out. The album will be out June the 9th. The brand new song, which I have already listened to at least 8 times today, is called Rise. We will have a full review of that for you next week. And I am telling you right now, as I read the story announcing the release of the song, and then later on today, the album, Nuno Betancourt talks about how he was inspired by the death of Eddie Van Halen on this album. And if you listen to Rise, I'm telling you, you will get goosebumps because Nuno sounds like he is channeling Eddie Van Halen. This song sounds like what should have been the best cut off of Van Halen 3 with Gary Cherone on vocals.
Wow.
I'm telling you, this song is unbelievable. This song is ridiculously fantastic.
I am looking forward to listening to it.
And you will love when you look it up. If you see the cover for the album, badass. 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 I'm telling you.
What's the album called?
6. Just called 6. Yes.
There we go.
Again, 15 years after their 5th album, Saudades de Rock. And I was when you came over tonight for taping, I was listening
to that one.
Yes.
I thought, okay.
Didn't know if you'd pick up on that.
I knew they had something new coming in the works.
Well, they've been talking about that for years.
Yeah.
This album supposedly has been in the works since 2010.
And they finally got off their asses
I'm a little bit pissed at Nuno because he's been putting his work with Rihanna ahead of Extreme. I'm like, how do you put her ahead of Extreme? Your band, you and Gary Cherone.
Yeah.
This band you put together has been so fantastic, so awesome. And again, this is only their 6th album.
I know. It's scary, isn't it?
It has taken them this long to put out 6 albums. But they are saying this thing is well worth the wait. And Rise sounds like they may be right.
So they rose to the occasion.
Yes, Dave.
You knew it was going to be there.
You can't just let me have a moment, can you?
No, I can't.
Also on tap for next week, as we're finally getting new music. Gotta love it. 3rd single, 3rd release from 72 Seasons from Metallica. If Darkness Had a Sun. We will review that next week. Along with, of course, an album we have been talking about here, anticipating, waiting for the last couple months, the brand new album from Sully Erna and Godsmack.
Lighting Up the Sky.
So, Another full slate of rock and roll for you kids next week here on the weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0. But that'll do it for segment 1.
Yep. Segment 2. We've got some movies.
We have a review of Megan. Just hit Peacock last weekend. We'll have that for you. We've got a lot of TV and streaming news. And of course, when we get to segment 3, we will definitely be playing Dumbass or Not. So you got another hour to sit around with us. Get your Cheerios. If you finished up that greasy bacon and sausage and the omelet,
grab a Slim Jim. What the hell?
Snap it to a Slim Jim. No wrestling this week, though. What the hell, man?
There you go.
We do have new women's tag team champions in WWE, though. Becky Lynch and Lita coming out of retirement.
Wow.
So,
there you go.
Had to slip that one in.
That's what she said.
I got another month till WrestleMania, man. Give me something. Throw me a bone. Throw me a bone. Dave and I will be right back. Hey kids, ready for a blast of dairy goodness? Pick up Sports Frenzy 2.0 milk at your local grocery store. Remember, when you drink Sports Frenzy 2.0 milk, you're not only enjoying a healthy treat, you're helping to locate missing sports heroes of the past and present. Our cartons and jugs feature pictures of Peng Shui, Ryan Leaf, and Sammy Sosa as we do our part to find the lost icons of the last 30 years. And don't forget our special weekend edition chocolate milk containers, available on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Casts, and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, because they feature celebrities like Lindsay Lohan, Helen Hunt, and Jean-Claude Van Damme. Pick up a gallon today.
Welcome back to segment 2 of Sports Frenzy 2.0, the weekend edition. Recording March 1st, 2023, dropping Saturday, March 4th. We are your weekend cure on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Amazon, Audible, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, and Stitcher! He's the maestro, Kevin Crane.
And he's a conquistador, Dave Height.
And it's movie time.
So for once here, it's been hit and miss lately. We have a mutual review, a movie we got to watch together. Hit Peacock last Friday.
Yep, the horror movie Megan.
Very big hit, $95 million at the domestic box office.
The creepy AI doll.
I will say this about Megan. Now, we've talked, you and I, in the past about our love of horror movies, but it is not a love that is always fulfilling.
No, it's not. The good horror movies over the last 20 years have been few and far between.
You've heard me rant and rave about how awful Smile was recently on Paramount Plus. And I can't really say that Megan is worlds better. I thought maybe for the first half of it, it was good, tolerable. The setup was interesting, a bit creepy. Again, you're trying to keep costs low if you're a studio for a movie like this, so you're not bringing in A-list actors.
No.
The thing about the first half of the movie that works for almost any horror movie is, here's what you do, kids. Consider this a rule, a Sports Frenzy rule for horror movies. If you're going to have a creature, whether it's a creepy AI doll or a rabid dog,
or something that slips in from another dimension,
a homicidal possessed child, whatever it might be, make sure you set up in the first half an hour or so multiple people, whether they be neighbors, dogs, co-workers, that are so despicably awful.
You need fodder.
That we all say, man, I hope they get killed. I hope they get killed.
You need natural cannon fodder.
And that's what Megan does well. Is Megan gives you the cannon fodder. Megan sets up right away in the first half an hour.
You know who's going to get whacked right off the bat.
And you are not going to feel the least bit bad when they do, because a good horror movie, again, will set you up with people you hate so much that you actually end up rooting for the killer.
Yes. A la Christine.
Yes. But Christine
was one of the greatest.
We should not mention this movie in the same breath.
No, but I'm just putting it in context.
Right. Christine is so good. It's one of the best ever. Megan, the first half was very, very well done for what it is.
Yes.
I guess that's the best way I can put it.
They did a good job setting it up and having things in place.
And the whole toy, the toy vibe, the ads they show for some other toys that play a part early on.
Really? You had to go there. Was my vibe with some of it.
Well, but I thought it was parody. I thought it was...
It was, but...
You know, it was over the top, trying to show how stupid and crazy we go with these toys, and how, you know, part of the message, I guess, of the movie, if you want to read into it, is that, again, we're not paying enough attention to our children, and we're giving them devices, phones, animatronic
something
objects,
to interact with them so we don't have
fake
to.
pets, fake kids to, like you said, interact with so the parents can go to work.
Or be self-absorbed assholes.
So in that sense, Megan isn't one of the bottom barrel horror movies that I've ever seen.
No.
But it kind of degrades in the last half an hour into a very generic.
You knew what was going to happen. It was predictable.
Again, it follows the footprints of past decent to good horror movies for the most part.
Yeah, but it just didn't bring anything new.
Right. It executes what it wants to do well. I will give it 2 frenzies.
I will go 2 as well. But I will say to all those asshole scientists out there, leave AI the fuck alone. This is what is going to happen. You've seen Terminator, the Skynet. No, this shit could potentially happen. You are creating things to try to be self-aware. You're screwing with the natural order. And this is what is going to happen.
Don't worry, everybody. I have called the rubber truck. It's on its way for Dave right now. I'm usually the paranoid one. What are you doing?
This shit is what's happening for real. This is what they're trying to do in the publishing industry with Amazon. You talk about, for publishing your new book, you just rattle off key points and it'll write the freaking thing for you.
I have heard.
They're trying to build Megan type things.
I heard a long discussion about this today, and I have heard the scary implications. I heard one that really blew my mind, where they said, if you were to give an AI a simple task, but unlimited power to accomplish the task was, build me the perfect paperclip. The AI would literally take everything in the world devour all humanity, all resources, because it would claim it needed all of that to create the perfect paperclip. So that's what you're talking about.
This shit is going to go south quickly.
Yeah. And of course, Terminator came up in the conversation, Skynet, because that is the pop culture reference that everybody's going to go to.
And now you have Megan. If this stuff, if you build it to keep building on itself and to learn, this is the shit you're going to wind up with.
See, here's the thing. Number one, this goes way beyond anywhere I want to go, not because intellectually I don't want to go there. It's just one of those things where I don't even want to think about it. You know, it's like death. I don't even want to think about my mortality.
Yeah, but you got assholes out there trying to play God.
But here's the other part of it that boggles my mind that I don't want to think about. What does this mean for the future of sex robots? Will I not be able to get my sex robot?
Just buy your vajankle and be happy.
I don't want a vajankle. I want a sex robot.
He wants a sex pirate.
So we'll take Megan for what it's worth. It's not the worst horror movie ever. It's just not transcendent. And again,
it's not the worst movie I've ever seen either.
Again, it just fascinates me how people are drawn to horror movies. This movie, huge hit. Smile, huge hit. I don't know about you. I've never watched a Conjuring movie. They're all huge hits.
I tried a Conjuring. It sucked.
The Nun, you know, and Annabelle. They all make tons of money, and their budgets are so low.
And they're so bad.
That's the thing. I think I saw Cinemark, by the way, starting today as we tape, March the 1st through the 5th, we're playing 5 straight days of the 5 greatest modern horror movies of all time. What are they?
I couldn't tell you.
Yes, you could.
Now, are we talking the good stuff?
Yes.
Oh, so we're talking five. So we're talking Halloween.
Yes.
Friday the 13th.
Yes.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
Oh, now this is where it could get interesting.
There's one that I don't agree with.
Am I going to be disappointed that Prince of Darkness?
No. That's one that you and I acknowledge is fantastic, but Cinemark does not. They call it Slash into Spring. It's leading into the release here in a couple weeks of
Texas Chainsaw?
Yes. So you've got 4 of the 5. The 5th one will disappoint you. But think about what we just reviewed.
God, are they going like Paranormal Activity or
The
Ring? No,
that'd be better.
Did they do
in
The
my
Ring?
opinion? No, not The Ring. No.
What is the 5th?
Think about the movie we just reviewed. Megan.
So which frickin' doll? Chucky? Really? Child's Play?
There you go.
No, I discount Child's Play. That was an awful, awful movie.
So it's the 3rd right now as this hits.
God, Child's Play was so bad.
This hits on the 4th, so you've got like 2 days left at Cinemark.
Why did you put Children of the Corn in there instead?
You realize the remake of that it just came out this weekend. They remade Children of the Corn. And it's limited release this weekend. So that's why you've got me around, to keep you up on this stuff.
This is the stuff why I want to stay hidden and tuck my head in the sand.
But think about that, kids. It's an interesting topic for discussion. Interesting, the Slash into Spring thing Cinemark's doing. Again, as we tape here, most of these shows...
I would take Jeepers Creepers over
Child's Play.
Over Child's Play?
Neither one.
Child's Play.
Neither one. The first 4 I can live with. Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, Friday the 13th. Which one did I miss?
Nightmare.
Nightmare, of course. Nightmare on Elm Street. Definitely. Even though I will say, I am not a fan of Chainsaw Massacre.
No, neither am I.
I saw it in the drive-in, and everybody said, you got to see it in the drive-in. It's so creepy. It's like, no, it's not.
No, it wasn't all
Halloween
that.
all time. Friday the 13th all time.
Nightmare
Freddy
on Elm
all
Street.
time. Yes. But yeah, I'm with you on Child's Play, but I'm not putting Jeepers Creepers in there instead. I don't think they would consider
Freddy,
it a horror movie, but
Jason,
I would put the Thing in there.
and Michael.
See, I would put the Thing in there.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's almost
that's
highbrow compared to the rest of them.
Yeah. Freddy, Michael, and Jason.
Yep.
You can't go wrong.
Some people would probably go Hellraiser.
With Pinhead? Yeah, over Child's Play, yes. But that's another one that you kind of had to think. With the puzzle box.
Big fan of that. I got it. I've got it. Phantasm.
Yes, with the floating silver ball with the
Phantasm would be my fifth.
Phantasm. Yes, good call.
There you go, kids. You debate at home your 5 greatest horror movies. Very interesting. Cinemark doing this week. So, like I said, as you hear this on Saturday morning, the 4th. Oh, Reanimator. No, but Reanimator I don't think counts. That's, again, like The Thing. That's in a different category.
That's more sci-fi.
And humor. There's a lot more humor in Reanimator.
Yeah.
Sorry, you got me all worked up thinking about Reanimator. But yeah, very interesting debate here for the spring. Slash into spring for Cinemark. So if you have a Cinemark theater near you, I believe as you hear this, you can go out tonight and catch Freddy. I think Nightmare on Elm Street was on the 4th. And then if you want to see Chucky tomorrow night, I think that was the 5th.
Chucky.
All right, moving on to TV and streaming. Sorry, I have mixed emotions about our reviews this week. I have some bad news, and I have some
bad news.
No, good news. good news and bad news. Of course, we talk about Poker Face every week. Still loving Poker Face every week.
Yep, still a little behind this weekend. A lot going on. Did not get a chance to get caught up.
And the thing is that's tricky about this is because they put new episodes out every Thursday. Technically, as we're talking, they're through episode 8. As you're listening, they are through episode 9. So, as Dave said, he's a little behind. I will just say, and we're holding off on a review of the full season here until we both catch up here in a couple weeks. Episode 8 is interesting. I believe, if I am not mistaken, it was actually directed by the star, Natasha Lyonne.
Interesting.
And it stars Nick Nolte. It involves some of the things we were just talking about.
Little slasher.
Horror movie makeup things. So, another great episode, though. Just an awesome show. So that's the good stuff. The bad stuff, I am officially signing off, saying arrivederci, saying kiss my ass to The Last of Us.
You've watched The Last of Us.
I'm done. I am complete. I am not. And this is something that, believe it or not, depressed me. This entire weekend.
We look forward wanting to watch Poker Face. We debate if we're going to do The Last of Us.
Last week's episode 6, was better than some of the stuff before. But now we get to episode 7 this past Sunday. And I'm done. I am not putting up with this anymore. I am a 47, 47, 37-year-old man. No, 57. That's an old Sports Frenzy joke involving Greg Odom. I am 57 years old, and I'm done with the bullshit. And that was part of the reason why all this week, I've been a little bit down, questioning where I am in life, questioning what I'm going to do with my life. And one thing I've decided, and Dave is, as my life coach, has always told me, bail. Don't waste your time with something if it sucks.
If it sucks, don't finish it. It's not worth wasting your time.
And I've always been the guy who said, no, I'm going to watch the movie all the way through. If I commit, I'm going to watch it. So 95% of the time, if I start watching a movie, I'm going to watch it all the way through. But I have been taking the conquistador's advice to heart lately. Started to watch that Eddie Murphy, Jonah Hill thing on Netflix. You people got through 10 minutes, said, nope, not for me. Started watching this past weekend, Netflix. We Have a Ghost. Same damn thing. 10 minutes in, I saw David Harbour was in it. I was like, oh, I like David Harbour. Violent Night, Stranger Things. 10 minutes in, nope. You've obviously made something that you don't care about me wanting to watch it. It's for another audience altogether.
There you go.
And I have realized now The Last of Us is not made for me. It wants to pander to fringe groups, smaller groups in our society. 7 episodes in, 2 episodes now have been made specifically for people that are not me. And I am not putting up with it anymore. And that's fine. You can act like 4% of the population matters more than 50% of the population. You can keep doing that. You can lose money. You can lose subscribers. And you've lost me as a viewer. Because you have an agenda. You obviously have people writing the show who you care more about than your audience. And garnering mass appeal. When I saw Storm Reed was in this episode, I should have known. I hate her. She is an awful actress. She is the epitome of what Hollywood wants nowadays. I can't stand her. She's an awful actress. And then where they go with this storyline, again, another flashback episode.
Oh, come on.
Because I can't just keep...
That's a freaking cop-out. Flashbacks are a cop-out.
It is another flashback episode because all the momentum they built up with what they had done well in episode 6, they completely lose it in episode 7 because it's an entire flashback. So we really don't get a resolution to what happened in episode 6. Wait another week while we show you, why certain things happen with our young heroine and why she is the way she is. I'm done. I am not putting up with it anymore.
There you go.
Now, I did watch, and of course, Dave's got his review coming up in a minute of Jack Ryan, but he was talking about watching something that popped on Amazon last Friday, which I happen to have already blown through. Now, it's only...
That's what she said.
8 half-hour episodes. So it goes by very fast. Again, I got through it in one weekend, and I am not a binge watcher. The Consultant on Amazon Prime with the great Christoph Waltz. This is a wild combination of The Usual Suspects, After Hours, and The Devil's Advocate, all wrapped up into one. You will find aspects of all 3 of those classic movies in this TV show. Christoph Waltz basically walks into a tech company, takes charge of it without really much more authority than a signed piece of paper that he presents. There is nobody else around to question his authority. Because it's a tech company, the one person in charge is gone. He claims he has a signature from that person, and the programmers, the coders, are left to either follow along, question authority, and deal with the repercussions if they question
the consultant.
Yes, and I am telling you, I'm not going to spoil this for Dave. I'm just going to tell you again, usual suspects, after hours, devil's advocate. Hearty helpings of all three can be found.
All right, I'm in.
Now, here's the question I'm putting forward to Dave. There is a major plot twist halfway through, right around the end of episode 4 out of 8. Very interesting, very cool, but there is a lot of Catholicism also woven into parts of the story. So there's never, to me, a full explanation of this big plot twist and what it means. So I'm hoping you, as a church-going person, as opposed to me, a heathen and a pagan, you will be able to figure out what this means and can explain it to me maybe next week, the week after, here on the podcast.
Whenever I can convince the boys to sit down and watch it. Yeah.
Right. Because that was my one major flaw with the show, was that this one cool-ass plot twist, I never get an explanation as to why it came to be. Now, it plays a very integral part later on in the show as well.
So it might just be the background piece you need of what it is.
Right. Now, if I don't get that, then it comes off as a very random plot point that seems like too much of a convenience that they just stuck in. Once you watch it, you'll understand what I'm getting at.
Okay.
But it is very enjoyable.
But with the rest of it, the way you describe it, there's probably a reason.
Right. And I didn't get it. And again, because they do have that little religious twist in there, I'm thinking maybe that's where I missed it. Strong 3 frenzies.
Nice.
For the consultant. And again, Dave and I agree, Christoph Waltz is awesome in anything he does. So he's the perfect balance of a cool guy, but menacing beyond belief.
Yeah, he plays this nice, twisted, sick psycho. All right. Season 3 of Jack Ryan on Prime. John Krasinski, of course, is back as the title character. Finds himself going rogue on the run from the CIA. New president instilled his buddy as the CIA director who has no frickin' clue what the hell he's doing. So op goes south as Jack tries to stop a rogue Russian plot for a nuclear device. And all hell ensues thereafter. We've got an old Russian plot to start a war. We've got old Russian soldiers at odds with each other, one looking for serious revenge. We've got a coup by the Russian Minister of War trying to take over from the president. We've got Jack and Greer and the cohorts running around Europe, the Czech Republic and Russia, trying to stop this with a Russian insider. 8 solid episodes. Great pacing throughout. It doesn't disappoint. It's a solid 3. The tension buildup is pretty good. They do a nice job with the scenes where they're filming to let you know, yes, this feels like it could really be in the Kremlin or wherever they're at. They put some money into the sets.
And I've got to stop being stubborn about this. I really do. You could learn from me, because if I'm going to sit down and watch Jack Ryan, I
started watching one of those bastardized.
What?
What? We were out to dinner, and in the restaurant, they had the end of American Assassin.
Okay.
And the next movie to come up was one of the Tom Cruise Reacher flicks.
There you go.
Sorry, it did not compute.
Oh, see, if I'm going to give myself over here to this Jack Ryan series with John Krasinski playing Jack Ryan, I was going to say, obviously just prove my point. I am a more mature man than you. Since can't get past.
It was on, I gave it a try.
In a restaurant.
I still watched a half hour of it.
First one or second one?
Second one.
Never go back?
Yeah.
Still, they're both good. They're both really good.
I tried, it didn't work for me.
I will at least give you credit for trying. I have been badgering you forever on that. But in the end, it still proves I'm a bigger man than you. I'm looking, again, I'm not going to watch crap anymore. I am not going to subject myself.
Watch the first episode.
No, I'm saying I'm going to. I am not going to watch crap like The Last of Us anymore. Subject myself to Hollywood's PC garbage. We're not going to tell you a story. We're going to force an agenda down your throat. So why the hell wouldn't I watch Jack Ryan? I've read the books, a lot of the early books.
Yeah.
I will get over Jim from The Office playing Jack Ryan. I will get myself over it. I will start watching it this week.
All right.
There you go. Are you happy now?
Yes.
You happy, Pappy?
Yes, I am.
All right, we're coming back. We're going to do our news of the week. Movies, TV, streaming, and of course, Dave will participate in America's favorite game show. That would be Red Foreman's Dumbass
or Not.
We'll be right back for one final segment, kids. When your day of dealing with international intrigue is over and you've settled down in your Aston Martin, call up Sports Frenzy 2.0 on your phone or smart car stereo. Every Thursday, Kev Dave will take your mind off the megalomaniac who just had a laser pointed at your genitals with the best sports criticism around. And don't forget to listen to the Weekend Edition every Saturday so you can plan out your entertainment options with the femme fatale of your choice. Grab a martini, shaken, not stirred, and check out Frenzy, Sports Frenzy 2.0. All right, kids, time to wrap up the Weekend Edition. He is the Conquistador, Dave Height.
He's the maestro, Kevin Crane.
Taping here on March the 1st, 2023. Your hangover cure will hit on March the 4th. We have reviewed our TV and streaming for the week. We have reviewed our movies. We have reviewed our rock and roll. We have got news tidbits to go through real quick. We have got a moment of silence or two. And then we are getting into Dumb Ass or Not. Yes, America's favorite game show with the Conquistador Dave Height. But first off, let us discuss The Lord of the Rings.
Why?
Do we really need more Lord of the Rings movies?
No, we do not.
We're getting more.
God.
We're getting more. I couldn't remember if you were a Lord of the Rings guy or not.
I'm not.
Are the
My
boys?
youngest is.
I was going to say, okay. Nick is.
Nick's all over the Lord of the Rings.
So he's going to be happy to know there are more Lord of the Rings movies coming.
He might not be so happy, depending on what it is.
But they've got the series on Amazon, right?
He has nothing to do with that.
Really? Okay. But again, Hollywood will take every opportunity it can to grab the money.
Of course they will.
So we're getting more Lord of the Rings. Now, this is something that
Are they making shit up, or are they taking it from some of the other books?
I believe it's going to be based on the books, but don't hold me to that.
Is it the Silmarillion?
I believe it's based on the books, but don't hold me to that. Now, I reviewed this show, I believe, about a year ago on this very podcast and told you it was a very enjoyable show on HBO Max. I don't believe you've watched it yet, but they have confirmed season 2 and they are starting to film it in April. That would be The Tourist, which stars Jamie Dornan. I thought it was an awesome show.
Jen and I watched the first 2 episodes of it.
Didn't like it?
It was okay. It was one that fell off that we just didn't get back to.
Yep, and that happens to me all the time. I get that. So I'm going to rewatch season 1.
Was that the one where he's
in the car accident,
blows up?
Car accident.
And then this restaurant blows up. And
Yep. It keeps building momentum. At least that's what I thought. It did a very good job of building momentum.
Yeah, that's one we enjoyed it, but we forgot about it.
Yep. And it happens. Dave, of
They're
course.
finally starting season 2 after all this time.
Yeah.
So that's the problem with a lot of this
This is the BBC. This is not directly through HBO. This is a BBC Australian thing.
That's the problem with stuff, because it took frickin' forever to get the final season of Peaky Blinders, and they lost one of the main characters in the meantime because of cancer. And they had to write that in, and that's another delay that they had with the story.
Of course, Dave couldn't wait to share the news with me, and I already knew it, and I was happy beyond belief. As of today, as we tape, March the 1st, Reels is now on Peacock, which means
you get to watch On Patrol live.
And I will check it out this weekend, believe me. Believe me, I was a massive Cops fan back in the day, and
just be ready for a lot of puns with the guys in the studio.
That's fine with me. That is fine. I'm just happy to see some good old American criminal stupidity live and on camera.
Then you can join the Facebook feed and all of that.
Okay. Can we stop? I'm not doing that.
Our buddy Jamie.
I'm not doing that.
Our friend Jamie is a frequent contributor.
I don't go that far with any show. I don't do that.
Jamie's posted a few, so.
Oh, Jamie. What am I going to do with you?
He's the one that got me hooked on it back in the day when it was on A&E as live PD.
There will be an It prequel series on HBO Max.
Oh, God.
Now, maybe that...
Is this Pennywise's backstory?
It's probably the story of all the original kids that died to set up, the infamous legacy that led into the movies. Or as I like to look at it, the miniseries, the old miniseries with Tim Curry on TV that was, in my opinion, much better. Wrestling news. I do have wrestling news.
You lying sack.
AEW All Access coming in March. Hey, it's March. Couple weeks away. Behind the scenes looks at your favorite AEW wrestlers. Might like a couple of those female wrestlers.
I was gonna say, I know which ones you'll probably be watching.
Baker, DMD. Jamie Hayter, wouldn't mind seeing some All Access with them.
There you go. You'll probably be bitterly disappointed.
Yeah, and I am trying to cut back on my wrestling viewing. Again, another part of my project for personal growth. Not physical. I don't need any help there. Mental, emotional. Very underrated show that I have talked about on Sports Frenzy in the past. Haven't watched a lot of the current season, but this is it. The Goldbergs is ending this year with season 10. I have watched the first 9 seasons. Like I said, a couple season 10 episodes so far. I will have to go back and finish it up. Very underrated show. Very, very, very funny show. Animaniacs. Have you heard about this?
Are they bastardizing Yakko, Wacko, and Dot?
Well, Animaniacs was relaunched a few years back on Hulu. Okay? And of course, Animaniacs, I wasn't a big fan, but I didn't dislike it. I understood that it was a little bit subversive, which I love. You know, had a little bit of that South Park Beavis and Butthead vibe to it.
I thoroughly enjoyed them.
Well,
Gave us Pinky in the Brain.
They relaunched Animaniacs on Hulu, as I mentioned, a year or two ago. Decided not to proceed with another season. So you know what they did? The final episode on Hulu literally killed off the Animaniacs.
Oh, come on!
A meteor came crashing down and killed them. Oh, spoiler alert, sorry.
You couldn't just leave Yakko, Wacko, and Dot alone to live in the Warner Tower.
No, they killed him. They killed him. Dead.
How depressing.
Supposedly, it is unbelievably blunt and shocking. They're sitting there in the middle of the road or something.
And
meteor comes down. Boom. That's it. Show's over.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Animaniacs fans are not happy about this.
That sucks. That actually is a horrible, horrible idea.
And again, I'm not an Animaniacs guy, and I heard this, and I was like, wow, this seems a little brutal. If they were to do this to Beavis and Butthead, I would be very unhappy.
Well, yeah. No, they should be blowing themselves up in a meth trailer. Accidentally. That would make sense.
But speaking of Hulu, you're going to get mad at me.
You're getting Hulu again?
No, I've already got Hulu. I told you that. But what do I get to watch starting this week that you don't get to, that you've been wanting to watch? History of the World Part 2.
Oh, shit, that is coming up. We have
This
to get
Monday.
our trial.
This
We
Monday it
talked
starts.
about doing a trial just to watch that and then canceling.
Yep. Next week, TV and streaming reviews start for History of the World Part 2 and on HBO Max. The only reason left to keep it, Season 2 of Perry Mason starts Monday.
Yes.
With that being said, I believe it is that time, Dave. Well, we do have one moment of silence. You might not know this name, but I will tell you he is one of the most important people in the history of classic horror movies. His name, Rico Browning. And you go, Maestro.
Who's Rico Browning?
Rico Browning was the guy inside the suit who played the Gill Man, otherwise known as the creature from the Black Lagoon.
One of my all-time favorites.
He just passed away within the last couple days, so thoughts and prayers to Rico Browning.
And all his little tadpoles.
If we're going to do all the reboots and remakes and everything, why have they never, with upgraded technology, attempted to redo Creature from the Black Lagoon?
I don't know.
Now, in one sense, I'm glad they don't mess with the original, but
let it go.
With all the different times they've screwed up
everything else.
Right.
They'd probably try and make it some stupid comedy.
Jesus. Can we not go there? You just said that and just immediately my eyes started twitching.
Because that's what they do now.
I know.
I know.
Oh, and by the way, Harvey Weinstein, 16 years in prison. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Harvey.
You're not getting out alive.
For once, we can agree with the hashtag #MeToo movement. Dirtbag goes bye-bye, never to be seen again.
Rightly so.
As Dave always says, there is always the one or the few out there that ruin it for the rest of us, and that would be one Harvey Weinstein, who has helped to make all heterosexual men look terrible. So we join you women in saluting the fact that he will rot in jail until the day he dies.
Thanks for fucking everybody over.
Literally and figuratively. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me get out my Gene Rayburn microphone, which I love so much, a relic from Match Game. It is time for, now normally, just the Red Foreman dumbasses of the week. But when I have this many,
we have to play.
We have to play the game. America's favorite game show known as Red Foreman's Dumbasses or Not. First up is a follow-up from last week. Now, we talked about the travesty that was the editing of Roald Dahl's books by Penguin and Puffin. Now, the good news is, let's throw a little bit of good news here.
They've backed off.
Right.
They are going to keep the classic version, but still have the updated.
Right. Yep, 2001 classic version.
Kudos to everybody out there who railed against this stupid-ass idea.
But here's where it gets fun. And Dave and I discussed this earlier. If you didn't check out the sports edition Thursday morning, check that out at the end in our dumbass segment. We talked about how a parkway in Queens, New Jersey, named for Jackie Robinson, the sign went up. Jackie was spelled Jakie. Well, let's do it again, kids, except this time with entertainment. Fox News obviously doesn't spell check their work because as they posted this story that Dave just mentioned, two different misspellings in this story.
Did they spell Ronald?
That was one. One was Ronald Dahl. The other one, you want to guess? The other misspelling?
What was it?
Road. R-O-A-D Dahl.
Oh,
Road
my
Dahl.
God. Oh.
Ronald Dahl, and then later on in the same story, Road Dahl.
That's absolutely pathetic.
Again, check your goddamn work. Be professionals. Be adults. Don't be lazy. It's insulting to those of us who have a level of intellect, obviously, beyond yours when you do this.
That's the problem, is they're not teaching spelling in schools anymore.
No, they're more concerned about, are you a man? Are you a woman? Are you a girl? Are you a boy?
Are you a unicorn? Are you a billy goat?
This one's pretty easy. And this one, for our second dumbass or not, I don't even know if there's going to be a lot of debate about this. And it's sad. This is a sad example of where we here on Sports Frenzy, we want to foster debate. We say the things that other people are afraid to say, whether they're controversial, sexual, anything that will stir the pot, because we need to have the discussion. If we are not talking, then we're never going to get a solution to any kind of issue, any kind of problem. But when you've got somebody like this who says what he said, Dilbert creator Scott Adams, this just goes beyond the pale to me. I'm more than willing to discuss whether something's racist or not. I will fight anybody, anytime, especially overbearing people on the other side who want to claim racism against white people when it's not.
Right.
But for Scott Adams, this still completely blows me away that somebody could be so ignorant to say, get the hell away from black people. Black people are a hate group.
That makes absolutely no sense. That is a complete dumbass.
I mean, it goes beyond being a dumbass.
It's so fucking out of touch and stupid and clueless and racist and bigoted all rolled in one. The guy just showed what kind of an asshole he is.
And it's scary because, again, I don't shy away from the fact that I'm not going to bend over backwards for anybody. BLM, PETA, any kind of left-wing fringe group, I'll call them out. But when you've got people like this out there saying things like this, a guy who has been in the forefront of pop culture for decades with one of the most popular cartoons, daily strips.
Yeah, to do this, showing obviously his true colors.
That's the scary thing.
That's the scary thing, is he buffaloed everybody by hiding what he was, and now that's unacceptable. Completely. The guy does need to go away.
And rightfully so. Dilbert's getting pulled from publications. There's
a lot of stupid canceling where, sorry, let most things go, especially if it's a comedy situation. Leave Dave Chappelle the fuck alone. This is completely unacceptable.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. Cancel culture is not something we subscribe to. And again, we will fight against. Censorship is something we will fight against. And he has the right, as much as we're saying this is idiotic. Scott Adams has the right to say what he said, but he is going to pay the price. Yep. He is going to pay a dear, dear price for it now. Because you cannot have statements like this. You cannot feel like this. I mean, this is a problem with this person, this individual. Yeah, if he feels like this.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
All right, we talked about the Roald Dahl thing, but we were making fun more of Fox and how they weren't spell checking. But let's get back into censorship again when it comes to books.
Are we going to be talking about the Ian Fleming, James Bond, where they're trying to do the same damn thing?
The James Bond books are going to be rewritten for the 70th anniversary re-release this spring because the Ian Fleming estate let sensitivity readers alter the text in multiple James Bond books.
Just leave things alone. If you want to do a little thing saying this was written at a time when this was the norm.
You put a disclaimer at the beginning of the book. You put a disclaimer,
but you leave the original text alone.
Yeah. This is not Scott Adams. Scott Adams saying what he said came from a bad, bad place. A place of hatred, a place of racism. Like Dave said, when it comes to something that was written 50, 60 years ago, it was a different time, it was a different world. A disclaimer at the beginning of the book explaining that is what's sufficient. Censorship is not what's needed, because all of these people, these sensitivity readers, these snowflakes that are calling for these changes, you are the ones are sitting out there calling everybody else fascists. This is book burning. One step away from book burning.
This
and you're
is
the evil ones. You're
is
the
fascist
evil ones.
activity.
Stop it right now. Leave this shit alone. Go on to some other cause. Because you go down this road.
This is fascist communist activity.
Ray Bradbury is saying, I told you so, in his grave. I told you so. Fahrenheit 451. Oh, let's go to Hollywood, Dave.
Do we have to?
Sure. Couple wonderful actors. Let's start off with a guy who played a meth dealer who it sounds like maybe took too much meth. One Bryan Cranston. Bryan Cranston came out recently and said, number one, MAGA, of course, that was the slogan for Donald Trump in his election, is a racist slogan. So somehow Make America Great Again is a racist slogan. Oh, because Bryan Cranston says that implies that since you're saying again, that means you want it to go back to when it was slavery.
That is
black
not
people were oppressed.
Oh my God.
Oh, it gets better.
That is the dumbest ass stretch of the imagination that you could possibly have.
It's called liberals can justify anything if it fits their agenda.
Good God.
And number two, he says it's imperative, that's his direct quote, imperative that we teach critical race theory in all of our schools.
It's imperative that we stop listening to these Hollywood egomaniacs who are completely out of touch with actual reality.
Can't argue with that. Fran Drescher. Remember her?
The nanny.
Well, she is now the president of SAG and AFTRA. Of course, SAG is a Screen Actors Guild. So anytime it's a union, you know we're going to have fun. Fran Drescher at the SAG Awards recently said that Hollywood...
Was she really at the SAG Awards?
Yeah, we're talking about the nanny. Yeah, just keep that in mind, kids, with this quote. Fran Drescher says Hollywood should use economic pressure, or in her words, financial influence, to effect state governors, all state governors, into changing their government policies. Basically, we will not film in your state unless you change your laws to fit into what we want.
Screw you, you egomaniacal twit.
Again, Hollywood, these people think they're better than us, they're smarter than us, and I have seen other people back me up on this, which I've been saying for years. They don't have political science degrees.
No.
They don't have master's degrees in government studies. Yet we act like Robert De Niro, Fran Drescher, Bryan Cranston are experts on how to raise our children, how to run government. Please tell me how that makes any sense.
Just shut up and entertain me. I don't give a rat's ass what you believe. Don't tell me what to think and feel.
And Fran Drescher to say that Hollywood should actually bring down basically economic sanctions on states.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And we saw that recently to a certain extent with Georgia.
Yeah.
With baseball. Pulling the All-Star game out because they didn't like certain policies.
Yeah, well, then you're going to be stuck filming in your liberal states with super high taxes that you can't get anything done.
Yeah, and see what's happening right now in Oregon? You better take a look at that. Where half the state is voting to leave and join Idaho. I'm hearing story. What is it called? They want to. The country's talking about dividing.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, this is going to get bad, kids. unless we get some common sense. But wait, our final dumbass or not. Let's just end this whole thing on the best possible note, right, Dave? I'm 5
Sure,
for 5.
give us the biggest dumbass of the week.
I'm 5 for 5.
You
right?
are.
This is 6 for 6. How are we expected as a country to actually come together to discuss important topics involving the climate, involving race relations, when we have Joe Biden as our president? And I am not trying to divert away from pop culture and go into politics, but this was such an egregious quote that I had to finish off the show with this. It ties it all together.
It's like the rug.
Exactly. Like the Big Lebowski. I'm not stupid. Are you stupid, Dave?
No, I am not.
Well, Joe Biden thinks we are, because in his latest wonderful quote that just conveys intelligence, maturity beyond all belief, Joe Biden decided to say, I may be a white boy, but I'm not stupid. Of course, pandering to an African-American audience. Not the first time he's done stuff like this.
How are people so damn stupid they can't see through his idiocy?
This is what scares me. You can say what you want about Trump, Obama, Bush, Clinton, going all the way back to them. Joe Biden is senile. He is mentally defective. Yet he is running the most important country in the world. And people voted for him. And people probably will vote for him again. Bill Maher said the other day he thinks Biden will beat Trump in the 2024 election. And if that happens...
How about we don't have either of them run? How about this country actually gets smart enough and doesn't vote for either one of them in the primary?
I'm telling you, we need DeSantis. DeSantis has got to get in this.
Ugh.
Because I'm with you. I don't want either one of them involved next time around.
Trump and Biden need to go away.
If Biden gets elected, the stock market will crash. We will be in a depression. And if Trump gets elected...
God help us.
He's Dave.
He's Kevin.
Check us out. Sports next Thursday. Weekend edition next Saturday. We love you, kids.